soft. They're not even playing it aggressive.
Okay, FBT joins us, Ryan Brauer, another one of the betting world favourites when we came to Vegas. And, what are you hanging in there at the moment? What's your table like? You've got, what, 37,000?
Yeah, I just went up to about 40,000 and back to 30. I lost to River Flush with I flopped 2 pairs of blinds. Back to 30, then back up to 38, the very second last hand before the break. Yeah, I'm happy. Table's chilled. There's quite totally different to what Ryan was saying, and then we've got quite a few limp pots, but a couple of good players on the table who are sort of limp re-raising in weird positions that don't make sense. I haven't really got myself into too much trouble. Kind of happy with what's going on.
The most important question we want to know is, have you been invited to dinner at the Brunson's house again? Because I haven't known that, so I'm going to ask you to tell the camera. I mean, you sat next to Doyle's daughter the other day and you turned down a dinner invitation. What's going on?
Yeah, well, it wasn't to their house. It was to.
Oh, still.
I didn't know she was going with her dad. First of all, secondly, the dinner break on day 1A was at like 4:30, and I'd only woken up at about 11, so I wasn't too hungry. I'd had breakfast already, and I was going to meet Jono and Andre and just go and talk a bit of rubbish. Turned it down. She came back and she said she had a lovely dinner with her dad and her brother, and I thought, well, I'm a moron basically.
Well, anyway, you won't miss that trick again. What's your table looking like today?
Yeah, no one that I really know. One guy that I played against in Australia, we actually remembered a big hand. Both of us remembered a big hand that I rivered him on in Australia, and I remember Mikey actually got footage of it. I rivered trip 6 with a nut flush draw. He had top 2 pair. That was one of the pots that actually got me going in Australia late in day 2. Yeah, we had a good laugh about that. He just got beat with aces now against 4s. He slow played his aces, and the guy turned a 4 on him. Other than that, there's one kid in seat 9 who seems to be pretty good, and he's got quite a few chips, about 80,000. Made a great laydown with queens earlier. So, no one really to write home about, nothing out of the ordinary. We're right in the corner of the secondary rooms.
But if you don't mind me saying, I love your attitude, because there's no tense. You know you've got plenty of time, you relax. This is a different Ryan Brauer to that we've seen in Vegas before. And I like the way you're talking, I like the way that you're showing lots of patience and no stress.
Yeah, I mean, the adrenaline rushes when you get involved in hands, and you know, when you get rivered, you still get upset. But I think I've learnt a lot. You know, the guys that have gone deep in the World Series, especially from Ray just is never ever under pressure. And you know, I realize that this is, the more I say it's a marathon, you know, everyone knows it's a marathon, but I think you realize, like, you're playing 2-hour levels. You cannot play a hand for an hour and you're not under pressure. Just trying to keep out of trouble and not do anything stupid. I can't win the tournament here. There's no chance I can even get to, you know, chip leader unless I really hit sick run of cards and get set over sets all the time. But you know, I'm just keeping myself above you know, the 40 big blind mark, and you know, then you're not under pressure. I think I'm trying to mature a bit in the poker aspect.
Well, it sounds as though you're doing that quite comfortably. You know, Cracker in the series, Cracker says rather famously, and I think the World Series of Poker can apply to this. This is not a 5-furlong sprint at Newbury. It's a 3-mile chase over fences and heavy going at Wincanton, and that's exactly what it is. It's a long, long haul. You also got to run good, don't you?
Yeah, of course, you have to run good. Right now, you obviously want to be flopping, like Ryan said, when you get sort of suited connectors and you can see the flop cheaply. You want to flop big hands and make your opponents pay for them. You know, your aces and kings aren't really going to win you a big pot now unless you're playing against somebody who's pretty inexperienced, who can't fold a pair of jacks or top pair on a board. Plus, you can't get rivered or turned, whatever it might be. You've got to run good, but you know, the less volatility that you put into your game, I think the less good you need to run to just stay in the race.
We've been chatting for a while. This could be the longest Twitter insert that Wendy's ever uplinked. But I do want to ask you one thing. How good is Roger Federer?
He's the best. We're having a discussion about the difference between him and Tiger. In tennis terms, he's the greatest. I did say he'd win in 3 sets in the last interview I did on day 1B. He won in the longest 5 sets you'll ever see, but he's just a different class. He never, even when he was playing, you know, even when Roddick had him under the cosh, he did exactly what we've been talking about in poker. He didn't crack, he didn't fall under the pressure, and he just came back and showed his greatness.
Last quick question: what's your reaction? Phil Ivey apparently refuses to play on the TV table. I don't know if you've heard that. What's your take on that? It's quite interesting.
First I heard of it.
You think that will be because he doesn't want people to see his whole cards, how he plays them, perhaps?
I think that might have to do with it. And he's also one of those, he's like the biggest name in poker, and he just doesn't like being in the spotlight. There's a clip on Poker Road, Life of Full Ivy, where they follow him around filming him, and you can actually just see he's not comfortable. Some guys like Daniel Negron, you thrive on TV tables. Ivy, obviously, I think it's a bit to do with the fact that he does want people to read his game, plus the fact that I think hiding in a corner somewhere suits him just fine.
Absolutely, he's got the personality of a drowned rat. That's exactly what I would say. Thank you very much. A bit like Michael Jackson. Ryan Brauer, still alive and taking it very easy with a nice chip stack and no pressure.